In what has been the greatest college football season since I can remember, it's Power Rankings Monday, and guys, it's all over the board. I mean, we argued for 30 minutes making this compiled list. I cannot wait to show the people. How do you feel, Cone?
Let's do it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Monday here at Crain & Company. Appreciate you guys stopping by as usual. Remember, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and knock that out. We are cruising to 200,000. We are almost there. And make sure you check out all the content on our channel. We have a full AP poll reaction, weekend recap. James Franklin getting fired yesterday. Have a whole video on that. So make sure you check that out. We got a huge week coming up with some big-time guests and another amazing slate of college football. But guys, on Monday, we know what happens. It's the power ranking.
Power.
All right, and we have a lot of ebb and flow movement. This is our power rankings, right, where it stands right now. It's not a projection. It's where it stands right now. David Cone, former Michigan quarterback. Blaine Crain, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver. And the way we're going to do this is we go from honorable mention. We have 4 honorable mention. Then we're going to go from 15 to 1. So you guys ready to start after a great
honorably mention
college football?
people.
You want to mention them honorably?
Yeah, let's make sure they're honored.
All right, we'll honor.
Your honor.
You're on. Yeah,
you're on.
That's exactly
Where's your
right.
gavel?
Quiet in the courtroom. I lost it. All right, let's start out with the honorable mention first. Now, we've had some movement here. Remember, last week we had Michigan in honorable mention. We had Illinois in honorable mention.
They're not, David, they're not mentioned honorably.
They won't be there this week.
Yeah, they won't. We'll mention them, but not honorably.
Yeah.
It's going to be a dishonorable mention. All right, so our honorable mentions this week, making their debut, is BYU.
Why not?
Yeah. All right, undefeated. Went on the road. You beat Arizona in overtime, I believe. Double overtime. It hadn't been sexy, right? It hasn't been the toughest schedule, but we're sitting up here and you're undefeated, and you look at the Big 12 right now, that thing is wide open spaces. It is literally a Dixie song.
And it's funny. Look, it's funny to see their young quarterback slowly coming into his own, right? He's going to be a damn good player.
One of the
I know their schedule hasn't been fantastic so far this year, but we're about to find out a lot about BYU.
Yes.
All right, you have Utah.
Yep.
The
Holy War. The Holy of Holies.
Not only that, but then I know they're just coming off a loss, but you're at Iowa State. Good program, especially with Rocco there. And then if you win those 2 games, you want to talk about a matchup, a duel. You're at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Right? And that could decide a lot of things at the end of the day.
And remember, this program started 9-0 a year ago.
Yeah.
Then lost back-to-back. It was Kansas and maybe Iowa State, something like that. So I love watching this BYU team play, but to me, they still do fall in the honorable mention category until you go get some of these wins against Utah, Iowa State, Texas Tech. Even after that, TCU.
Yeah.
I mean, any of those are being
And Cincinnati. This is a tough stretch.
Cincinnati's sneaky.
Yeah.
Sorby's a little sneaky. All right, USC.
Yeah.
After handling Michigan, we did a full breakdown on that game on the weekend recap. Make sure you check that out. If that defense is going to play like that with Lincoln Riley, this program will elevate very, very quickly. It's just, can they consistently do it on the defensive end? And boy, do they got a big opportunity this weekend. Going to South Bend, to Notre Dame. You go and physically be able to handle Notre Dame. I know the defense for the Irish hadn't exactly been what we thought it was going to be, but this is another chance for Lincoln Riley to make a statement and really put them in a big position. I mean, David, they're still in the hunt for the Big Ten.
Oh, 100%, man. And it wasn't just the physicality on defense, but the physicality with rushing the football, 220 yards rushing against that Michigan defense. And we already knew what they can do through the air. And I mean, Mekhi Lemon is absolutely unguardable to me at the wide receiver position. But I'm glad you talked about this Notre Dame matchup, because if you're a Notre Dame fan, you love to see USC
That was
doing
big
well,
for Notre Dame.
because you don't have a lot of other opportunities here down the stretch for quality wins. Now, if you beat USC, that's going to be a quality win.
All right, and speaking of Notre Dame, again, I know that the AP poll has them, top 15, top 16, something like that. We have them in honorable mention right now, and I think that's where they need to be. You're a 2-loss team. You have a chance again, and Blaine, you've made this point. They went out. I don't see a world in which they keep a 10-2 Notre Dame out. As much as you may agree with it, you may disagree with it. And if we're being honest, I mean, hell, their 2 losses just continue to look better and better by the week. So again, Cone always brings up the point too. Let's see how it looks at the end of the year, instead of just saying, all right, well, you know, you've lost 2, you're already out, this, that, and the other. And Notre Dame's schedule, again, you beat USC, you're putting yourself in a pretty good
I could say this, I mean, definitively, like at this point, I'm a CJ Carr believer.
Oh, 100.
I am a
100%.
CJ Carr believer. The strides this guy has taken from Miami to where we're sitting now. This is going to be an insane matchup with USC. If there's ever a game to take the points, I'm sure we'll get to that at some point this week. This is that game. But I said this after the Arkansas game. I literally said this: Notre Dame is going to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
If they win out with the losses versus Miami and Texas A&M, and you beat USC, you're going to make the playoffs. A 10-2 Notre Dame is going to make the playoffs. I think we can all sit here 1,000% and agree with that.
I agree with that. Another team that's kind of sneaky over here in the ACC, and do not forget, their loss to NC State was not an ACC game. So they are technically still undefeated within the Atlantic Coast Conference while having lost a game to an Atlantic Coast Conference opponent. That is Virginia. Tony Elliott, man, we're talking about all these coaches that are on the hot seat and this coach getting fired and how this has been a huge letdown. Man, Tony Elliott's kind of come out of nowhere a little bit. You lost Calandria, who's now at UNLV, who's 6-0, by the way.
Yeah. He's a good player, man.
But, dude, you get Chandler Morris to come in there. You're hitting on all cylinders right now. And we'll see in the ACC, but we got to start talking about Virginia. It's
100%.
Can we go to the rest of their schedule real quick?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Can you roll through that?
I mean, it's pretty favorable if you are a Virginia fan. You're Washington State at home this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you feel like you should win that game. You're at North Carolina, at Cal, Wake Forest at home, at Duke, and obviously you finish the year versus Virginia Tech.
Yeah, so at Cal and at Duke.
Yeah, those are two
But
games.
like you said, that NC State loss, not a conference loss.
So, we're living in a real world where Georgia Tech could go undefeated in the ACC.
Yep.
Miami could go undefeated in the ACC because I don't believe they play each other unless I'm mistaken. And Virginia could go undefeated in the ACC.
Yeah.
If you're Jim Phillips, you get 3 teams in then, right? How do you keep if Virginia finds a way to go 11-1 and they don't play in the ACC championship game, and Georgia Tech, even if they're 11-1, if they lose to Georgia at the end of the year, and they lose to an undefeated Miami team in the ACC championship, I still think they have to be in.
There's no way you can keep all 3 out. You can't keep 11.
Well, no, you're not going to keep all 3 out. The question is, do you put all 3 in?
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. There's no way the ACC with 3 teams would get in the playoffs.
It's just wild to see how great Miami has been, and they've been, number 1 in our power rankings for several weeks, and they're 5th in the ACC because they've only played 1 conference game.
Yeah, well, what happens if it comes down to an 11-1 Virginia team? Let's just say they don't play in the ACC championship game, so they finish 11-1, and you're fighting over that last spot with a 9-3 Oklahoma or a 9-3 Tech. Is this setting up to be an SMU Alabama situation a little bit? Now, I know SMU lost in the ACC championship game, and there's a little bit of a difference there last year. But you put Indiana in that went 11-1, and they didn't really beat anybody of crazy significance.
I'll just say we're only halfway through the season. There's a lot of football left to play, and you don't always beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
That's very true.
Sound like Tim Brando.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. But all right, let's get to the top 15 in the comments. We want to know where you agree, where you disagree. Please, again, make sure if you want to say something, say it. Dissent moves us forward. Starting at 15, Missouri. You lose that game to Alabama by 3 points. We can bring up Missouri's schedule before this and how they really don't have a great win, especially now that Kansas continues to lose. But when you look at Missouri, they get a chance to go on the road at Auburn, which right now, if you're a defensive coordinator, you'd be licking your chops to go play
to get you right
against Auburn and the blind kids and situation they got going over there on offense. But this Missouri team feels like a top 15, David. The run game is still really, really good. You lost to a really good Alabama team, maybe the hottest team offensively. You can make an argument in the country right now, or at least have Ty Simpson, maybe the hottest quarterback in the country. And Missouri's going to have a chance to continue to move up and put themselves in a good position. I've got no problem with them.
I think the 2 knocks right now are, the best team that you played, you lost to at home, and you didn't look great, especially on the offensive side of football. But then the pro side is, you lost by 3 to a really good team. You found a way to keep that close, and that was anyone's ball game at the very end. And look, they still dropped 4 spots in our ranking because last week they were 11.
And I've seen people say, Georgia at home lost to Alabama by 3. Why aren't people talking the same way about Missouri as they are about Georgia and giving Georgia the benefit of the doubt? Well, that Georgia win over Tennessee on the road.
Missouri, feel free to go to Knoxville and win.
For sure.
That's the difference.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to be the difference. So it's not exactly even. I can understand half that argument, but if you're going to use logic and not be contradictory, you have to look at Tennessee going on the road and beating Tennessee, another team that's on our list. We'll get to.
So why Missouri over BYU?
So, and again, this is where, and when we have discussions, this is a compiled list. So we don't always agree on everything. I will say, and one of the points of contention, because we have Georgia Tech up here, okay, and we're going to get to them. I don't want to jump the shark too much. Georgia Tech is undefeated. Now, I think the win over Clemson, I know Clemson's been kind of a laughingstock so far. They've played 2 bad teams these past 2 weeks. They've rebounded and looked good. I do still think that win carries some weight for Georgia Tech, and we have seen Haynes King and Georgia Tech. We kind of know who this team is and what they've been about going into year 2. So I feel like we have more information. With BYU, if you're a BYU fan and you're pissed off, I get it. I understand that wholeheartedly. But you do feel like we know less about BYU overall because of the newness at the quarterback position. You lost Retzlaff, and you're going to get a chance to prove it either way. The thing with Georgia Tech as well is when you look at the schedule difference down the road between Georgia Tech and BYU, it's a whole hell of a lot smoother sailing. At least it looks that way for Georgia Tech than BYU, which means BYU can have a chance to move ahead of Georgia Tech if you keep winning.
If BYU beats Utah this weekend,
then that's the conversation.
And Missouri beats Auburn this weekend, would you think BYU would jump Missouri in this ranking?
I would put BYU ahead of Missouri.
Well, it depends on what else happens, too. I mean, the good thing for BYU is a lot of these teams in front of you are about to start playing each other, right? And they're going to be moving out. You have great opportunity to move up, even if you were to just win no matter who you played. But like you mentioned the schedule, you're going to play really good teams and get a chance. So far right now, Georgia Tech's undefeated streak is more impressive with wins at Colorado and win over Clemson. And then the same thing on the Missouri point that you asked. I think if BYU played Missouri's schedule, they'd have the exact same record right now, but I don't think they would have kept it as close against Alabama. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Maybe they would have beat Alabama.
And Colorado beating Iowa State really helped
Ranked
out Georgia Tech. Really helped out Georgia Tech in our rankings. All right, let's go to 14. Another SEC team here, Vanderbilt, which, you know, we want to sit here and talk about one-loss teams and who has a quote-unquote great loss. Well, Vandy went on the road and played with Bama for a while. That final score was not indicative of how that game went, and they are favored over LSU at home. And if Vanderbilt beats LSU at home this weekend, I think it's going to be pretty damn tough for us, especially if Alabama beats Tennessee, to keep Vandy out of the top 10. Because, again, that would be a road win over, you know, you look where LSU is ranked anywhere from 12 to 9 in this, that, or the other poll. If they beat them at home, they could really move up. This Vanderbilt team, Blaine, is pretty damn good, and they are favorited, like I said, over LSU. Vandy has a chance to continue to move up, but the schedule, again, in the SEC for a lot of
I mean, I look at Vandy's schedules right now. You have LSU at home, you have Missouri at home, you're at Texas, Auburn at home, Kentucky at home, and you finish the year on the road at Tennessee. So look, you're gonna look. If you win some games, you're gonna have plenty of bullets in the chamber.
Vandy's good enough to win. I'm telling you,
I mean, you're favored against LSU this weekend.
Yeah, but they could lose out. It's somewhere between 5-7 and 11-1.
Right? Yeah.
It's a roller coaster. If you're a Vanderbilt fan, it's a roller coaster.
But I was actually impressed with the way they played Alabama on the road. And that last touchdown makes it look a lot worse than it was with the circumstances of the game. But really, I mean, that was one score there towards the end.
Well, and you feel like with Vandy, it's not just that Diego Pavia is a witch or they got a couple skill guys that can make amazing plays to keep them in games. They can hold up front. Like, they've got good overall team speed. Yeah. I think that's the difference in this Vanderbilt team.
Vandy passes the eye test.
They do pass the eye test. All right, 13. This team had a big drop for us. I believe we had them, 5 or 6 last week? I can't remember off the top of my head.
We had them at 5.
At 5. Oklahoma. Now, again, for the Oklahoma fans that are panicking, I understand that you're upset / embarrassed that you lost to Texas once again. It looked really defunct. Mateer, again, we had an instant reaction to that game. I think we all came to the conclusion that it was more about Mateer being out of rhythm because he hadn't played in a while, as opposed to the thumb being this huge detriment, because they ran his ass like his thumb was not hurt. I mean, there was a lot of designed quarterback runs from John Mateer. We know that the defense, that was probably the most shocking part to me, was how and you got to give Texas the credit, how the defense looked in the second half compared to the offense. And in my mind, it's kind of the inverse of the way Auburn's offense looked in the second half against Georgia after they looked so good in the first half. Oklahoma pulled that, but on the defensive side, with Texas being able to move the ball and then not being able to affect the offensive line. The schedule going ahead for Oklahoma is absolutely brutal, but you do control your own destiny. And if this Oklahoma offensive line, and I know if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. If they can start playing better, this team is good enough to beat anybody in the country, I think. But I mean, hell, it's been 2 straight years of y'all being ass on the offensive line. And the running back situation, I know Blaylock's a young guy. He's still learning. But I mean, where is this guy? He's on the back of a milk carton.
I'm tired of talking about him, to be honest. Missing in action. And as well as John Mateer runs it, he doesn't run it well enough to be the entire offense.
100%.
Like, they have to get a running game going there at Oklahoma. So I think the fall is justified. I also think remaining in the top 15 is justified because you lost to an arch rival in Red River, when your starting quarterback was banged up. What worried me more was that John Mateer's mistakes didn't look like they came from an injury. It came from bad decision making, which we've seen a couple times against Michigan, a couple times against Auburn. He got away with those with awesome plays, and the awesome plays are what you remember. Not this time, but honestly, good on Texas for reminding people what they're capable of, a mature team who bounced back. When you lose tough games, there's two different ways to respond. You can do what Texas did and beat your arch rival and knock them down to 13, or you can do what Penn State has done, which is just fall off a cliff and your head coach gets fired.
Yeah, and look, Oklahoma, the rest of their schedule, Blaine, it's
so
this is like a Freddy Krueger dream.
I mean, you're at South Carolina.
Not easy.
Ole Miss at home, at Tennessee, at Bama, Missouri at home, and LSU to finish the year. It's just,
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you.
So tough.
I'll stack those 5 up against anybody else in the country for the last, 5.
It's going to be so tough for Oklahoma. It's just so tough to win football games when you're so one-dimensional.
Yeah.
It's so tough. Against these teams, it's going to be so tough. And it kills me to say this, but, I'm fine with Oklahoma being at 13 right now if it's a snapshot in time. But with this, if they stay one-dimensional, I think we could be talking about Brent Venables on the hot seat at the end of the year.
Boy, you want to talk about a flip? But, I mean, we can never say never now, because I watched Penn State be top 3 in the country 3 years ago, and now James Franklin isn't the head coach anymore.
They're really good on defense. They have really great players at key positions.
Yeah.
Again, it's one conference loss.
It is. But God, it just feels like the weight in this year in college football with all the parity. It's just the narratives can change even faster than before. I'll tell you a narrative that hadn't changed in the past 2 years. Brent Key's a damn good football coach. And Georgia Tech is at 12. We explained why we'd had Georgia Tech at 12 and BYU an honorable mention. I don't want to rehash that. But looking at the rest of the schedule, and again, I know we got a long way to go, but if Georgia Tech just plays well, they are going to finish 11-1. Not only that, all right, and if that one loss is to Georgia, again, unless the tiebreakers eliminate you, if there's 3 teams that are undefeated in the league or whatever, you're going to have a chance to play in the ACC championship game. And I mean, even if you lose that one, you probably got a shot to host a first-round game. We'll see. But I mean, how good is this Georgia Tech?
That's what I keep asking.
Are they? That's a bad way to put it. How great is this Georgia Tech team? Good, or are they great? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I'll phrase it like this. They've benefited greatly from their schedule. I think there's a number of other teams across the country who would also be undefeated with this schedule, but it's not their fault. They can't control what their schedule is. All they do is go out there and win football games. And the win at Colorado, more impressive now that Colorado has another ranked win. The win against Clemson, I think, is going to continue to look more impressive because it looks like Dabo Swinney's team is continuing to bounce back. At Duke coming up. Can you go on the road and beat a solid Duke team and continue to stack these wins? Because I do believe in Brent Key and I believe in Haynes King at quarterback.
Well, my thing about Georgia Tech last year was okay, what happens when Georgia Tech plays somebody that can stop the quarterback run game? Mm-hmm. Do they have another way to win the game? But I'm going to be honest with you. I really hadn't seen anybody do that. You remember last year, Georgia's going to shove Haynes King. They may break him into 9 pieces. It may be like the plot to the Ed Gein movie that's on Netflix or whatever right now, just body parts everywhere. But they weren't able to do it. I mean, it seems like Georgia Tech, they're great at what they do. They know who they are and they're great at what they do.
Just keep winning. If you're Georgia Tech, just keep winning. I mean, you're a dog this weekend against Duke. I mean, you're plus 2.5. So they did a lot of...
which is a pick 'em on the road.
Yeah, I think Duke is better. So this would be another win. At the end of the day, if you're Brent Key, as long as he stayed the Georgia Tech head coach, which I think he will. I mean, I'm sure Penn State will probably call him. You just got to keep winning, man.
I know another
There's no way if you keep winning that they can drop you. There's no way.
Yeah. It's kind of got a little bit of Indiana vibes to it from last year, Georgia Tech, just with the schedule. But they are a quality team. This next one, guys, I'm man enough to come on here and say, look, bro, I don't know. And with LSU at 11, I know you won against South Carolina. The defense, Blake Baker has cracked the code. But God, on offense. And you look at the rest of their schedule, You want to talk about maybe a coach, not saying they're going to fire Brian Kelly because of the buyout. You want to talk about a season that could flip on its head? If LSU keeps playing this way on offense with this schedule coming up, can you go through it real quick?
Obviously, you're on the road at Vandy this weekend.
Tough.
You pick up Texas A&M at home.
Tough.
At Alabama.
Tough.
Arkansas at home. Western Kentucky at home. And you finish the year at Oklahoma.
I mean, damn, Dave.
Yeah,
like
every game losable, every game also winnable, and right now you've only lost to what, the number 6 team in our power ranking. So a lot of good things at LSU, some things not so good. They're somewhere between a top 5 team or maybe a top 35 team.
It's just one of those, like, and I know LSU fans are like, look, we wanted the defense to be better. We're so happy, but why does the offense? It just looks so. And we can talk about Nussmeier and injuries and this, that, or the other. But at some point, man, you either got to get healthier and you're playing better, or it's just a problem.
Yeah,
y'all just aren't great on offense.
What are we going into week 8? I'm not here to hear about injuries anymore.
Yeah.
You played in every single football game this season, so
well, shoot, everybody's
you're playing.
Hell, I'm injured.
Right? At the end of the day, if you're LSU, you just got to win. Same thing with Georgia Tech. I mean, Georgia Tech beat Wake Forest by 1.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know Robbie Ashford's just not out there tearing it up.
No.
I've watched the entire year of that. So if you're LSU, it's a good win against a pretty good, healthy Lenore Sellers, a good defense in South Carolina. So look, you're going to go on the road this weekend and find out. Against Clark Lee and his School of Gifted Mutants.
Mutants.
Look, in a league where you can lose any week, they beat South Carolina 20-10. They beat Florida 20-10. The same Florida.
Boy, they can beat your ass 20-10, bud.
Yeah.
Good Ranchers is challenging families everywhere to get back to the table at least once a week, every week between now and Thanksgiving. They're even doing weekly giveaways for free holiday hams to encourage people to gather and connect with others around them at the table. Now, to enter to win, all you have to do is share a photo of your gathering every Thursday night on your Instagram story. You use the hashtag #BackToTheTable and you tag Good Ranchers. That's at Good Ranchers. And if gathering once a week feels impossible, well, Good Ranchers can help. Their high-quality, 100% American meat is delivered to your door, pre-portioned and triple trimmed, so you spend less time prepping and more time with the people you love. We've used it for 3 years, whether you're tailgating, whether you're just grilling out at the house, whatever. Any type of food you get delivered to your door from Good Ranchers is fantastic. And here's another great deal. If you subscribe to any Good Ranchers box today and you use our code BOOSTER, that's BOOSTER, you get your pick of free meat for life. That's free meat for life. You heard that right. It's not just your first box. So hit up GoodRanchers.com. Use that code BOOSTER for $40 off plus free meat for life. GoodRanchers.com. Let's get back to the table. There's a lot of 20-10s going around, by the way. All right, number 10, let's stay in the SEC. Tennessee. Boy, talk about a test. If Joey Aguilar can find a way, and we're going to have a full preview on this game, obviously, going to Alabama. This Tennessee team, you close win against Arkansas, overtime win against Mississippi State. You did beat Syracuse when they had Angeli. That was a totally different team. I will say, as impressive as Aguilar has been, and this Tennessee offense has been at being able to hit the big plays down the field, it's the defense that I question. And I knew there would be a little bit of a drop-off with what they lost with James Pierce and a couple other guys. I know Jermon McCoy hasn't been able to be out there yet. He should be. We'll see what happens against Alabama this weekend. I haven't seen a ruling on his health. Remember, the Senior Bowl director, Drew Fabianchi, came on here and said he's the number 1 graded player in the country right now. When you look at the way they look at it, is this Tennessee team, can they be elite? Can they turn it around defensively? Because if you ever had an opportunity to see what you're made of on the defensive side of the ball, David, it is against Alabama and Ty Simpson right now because their Hansel at the Male Model Awards hot.
Feels like there's a lot of these teams right here that fall into this category, and Tennessee's one of them that continue to play with fire, but they've gotten away with it, right? I mean, you Arkansas plays you close. You could have lost that game. Mississippi State, that was overtime. Double overtime. Yeah. But then on the flip side of that, also, you were very competitive in your loss. You're a made field goal away from beating Georgia at home, and you're undefeated right now. So what a perfect time. You're in the top 10 in our list. What a perfect time to go on the road, play Alabama, and try and get a top 5 win.
Well, if I told, after the Nico stuff, if I had told, not on Alabama fans or Tennessee fans.
Yeah, Alabama fans in the comments. But please let us know about
if I would have told Tennessee fans they would be exactly where they're at right now, going to Alabama with the one close loss to Georgia at home, I think 95% of them would have taken it. Don't even tell me anything else. I'll take it right now. You've got an opportunity, and if you lose this game, it's still only your second loss, right? So you still have that cushion, but you go win it, then it starts a totally different conversation about this Tennessee team.
So why Tennessee ahead of LSU?
Well, look, I think you can make a logical argument for putting LSU ahead of Tennessee. I mean, the question becomes well, let me ask you this. Who do you think's better, Ole Miss or Georgia? Because we're going to get to find out this weekend, bud.
I don't want to give my pick away on a Monday.
I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about right now. Like, because Tennessee lost at home against Georgia.
Okay.
LSU
lost on the road
against Ole Miss. So if you think that Ole Miss is better than Georgia,
then you think LSU a road loss is better than a home loss.
What about if they played each other right now?
I'd be a pick 'em. I'd probably take LSU.
I think I'd take Tennessee right now.
As bad as LSU,
I would probably take the home team.
Tennessee's as bad.
That's probably I'd default to the home team.
Tennessee's as bad as on defense.
And look, again, I don't think that's a crazy argument. This is what makes this interesting. Like, you could flip but if we're sitting here arguing about flipping 11 and 10, I think we're on a good track.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as egregious as some others. All right, again, let's stay in the SEC. Georgia at 9 after that comeback win against whatever you want to call what Auburn's doing right now. At 9, again, you're going to keep getting these opportunities. The rest of Georgia's schedule, I just love Georgia's, like, the grittiness. Like, we always talk about, a team taking on the identity of their head coach. Georgia's just tough. They're just tough. They out-grit you to wins. You saw that against Auburn. On the road, one team was soft, another team was not, and attitude reflects leadership. This Georgia team, man, Gunnar Stockton's a gamer, bro.
Yeah, he is.
He's a gamer. Yep. And your one loss is to Bama. The rest of Georgia's schedule, can you roll through it real quick?
Yep. Right now, obviously, you have Ole Miss at home this weekend.
Huge.
You got that cocktail party next week against Florida, at Mississippi State, Texas at home, Charlotte at home. Then you finish your at home versus Haynes King and the boys.
Is there any more perfect quarterback for Kirby Smart than Gunnar Stockton?
It's like they just reshaped Stetson Bennett a little bit. Like, obviously they're different in the way that they play, but that, like, kind of undersized,
gritty
country boy mindset. Like, that's the difference. You have some of these pretty boy quarterbacks that just really aren't about it when it comes down to it. They're too busy doing TikToks with their girlfriend at Guthrie's instead of trying to go win football games. There's a prototype.
That sounded personal.
Yeah,
no, that's real. It's real. Jack Starner, I'm looking at you.
Well, look, I thought Carson Beck kind of fit into that category. So far, he's done nothing but excel at Miami. So sometimes it can be great for both parties.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be great. But Georgia's secret weapon, they have the best coach in college football.
Very true.
Kirby Smart is coaching every single play. And
he can do magic tricks on the sideline.
So with the clapping thing, was he trying to say that he was clapping, which shouldn't matter, or was he trying to say that Auburn's defense was clapping?
The only thing I know is he went to the ref and did this.
Yeah, that's all that should matter, right?
Time out. And then he said he was clapping.
That's my question, though. Did he say he was clapping, or did he say Auburn's defense was clapping?
Well, Auburn's defense was clapping. Well, if you go look at their safety, he was clapping.
Well, the safety can clap.
He's talking to a linebacker to get lined up.
If I'm 10 yards...
Stop breaking the rules.
Yeah, like if it's 10 yards in front of and again, I got to see where the safety is. You can't run up and clap at the line of scrimmage.
How do you do this?
Penalty.
How do you do this?
Here's what I think,
you get away with it?
Honestly, here's what I think happened. I think, because Georgia was on offense, obviously, that Kirby was running over there trying to call timeout to tell the referee that Auburn is clapping. And somehow, because I don't think Kirby was like, no, I was clapping, I wasn't calling the timeout. But I think somewhere in that conversation, Kirby thought, maybe they won't charge me for a timeout if I said that I wasn't calling timeout. And they went with it. So he just went with it. I don't think there was he was like, no, I wasn't calling timeout. I was saying I think he went over there and the ref was like, I think the ref probably said, did you call a timeout? Instantly, Kirby's like,
every coach,
if you're about to get my kid with cookie crumbles all over their face.
It's an improv actor.
Every coach,
it's an
for the rest of the
actor.
Year, if you're listening, if you're about to get a delay game on offense, just run to the ref.
Yeah.
And just do this. Then he's going to call timeout. And then you go out and say you didn't call timeout. I didn't call timeout. Their defense was clapping.
Again, to my point, best coach in college football.
Look,
Thinking outside the box.
If it works, I get it.
All right, let's go 8, Oregon. Now, this was an interesting discussion. This was a very interesting discussion because how do you value losses? Like the prism do you look at it? So let me give you an example for Oregon because it's a great case study. Oregon goes on the road and beats a top-ranked, top 3, whatever, top 5 ranked Penn State team. At the time, huge win, massive win. Well, now you look at Penn State, just fired their coach, lost 2 games in a row as a 20-point favorite. It's an absolute disaster. Do you devalue that win now? Or like you said, David, before we came on here, which is a great point, do you give credit to Oregon for breaking Penn State?
This is the same case that I made for LSU and Clemson. After Clemson looked like they were falling off a cliff and everyone was saying, well, that win against Clemson now looks worse and worse for LSU. Say, who cares? We broke them. We're the reason they're falling off a cliff. You could say the same thing if you're Oregon. 15 days ago, Penn State was the number 3 team in the country. We beat them at their place in front of 110,000 whiteout. And now they fired James Franklin. We helped contribute to that. It's not our fault. But the bigger thing for me is you lost at home to Indiana, and that has to be reflected in our rankings.
It does, still, but also like now where Indiana is, I mean, that loss doesn't, if we're going to sit here and be like, well, Georgia barely lost at home to Alabama, and we've got Alabama at 7, which we're going to pop up here. I mean, as high as Indiana is now, I mean, I guess there's no such thing as a great loss, but if you're going to weigh losses from ascending to descending, that's a pretty damn good loss.
So you're saying that Oregon, because Oregon fans naturally think that they should be the highest ranked one-loss team, right? But I think that Alabama should be the highest.
Yeah, and you just lost.
One spot ahead of them, and recency matters.
Yeah,
too.
you just
Alabama's
lost.
been on a roll since their loss.
For sure.
Look, they may lose again, and then you jump them. That's how this works.
No, 100%. I mean, Bama at 7, it makes sense. The one-loss argument is very, very interesting because the rest of the teams we have on here, they're obviously undefeated. But with this Alabama team, they are as dangerous, I think, as anybody in the country right now because of the way that Ty Simpson is playing. Do I think the defense is elite? No, I do not. I do not. I'm interested to see how they play against Tennessee.
I just don't know how many. I don't know how many sides of the ball you can look at this year in college football for every team and say that it's elite.
Well, let's go through it. I think Miami's looked elite on both sides of the ball. I think Ohio State's looked elite on defense. I think Indiana looks elite on both sides of the ball. I don't think A&M has looked elite on either side of the ball.
I think Texas Tech looks really great on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, especially on offense. Like Texas Tech's got some guys that can really go get it. So Bama at 7, Ole Miss at 6. Now, last week we said that Ole Miss was the most flawed team in our top 5. And you worry about Lane Kiffin, not in the big games, but in the games you should win. It used to be a reverse James Franklin until James Franklin lost 2 games in a row that he should have won. Ole Miss struggled with Washington State and struggled up front with Washington State. And I want to give Eckhouse, the quarterback, and their coaching staff and all of them credit. There is no reason that Ole Miss should not have scored 50 points in that game against that defense. I watched, North Texas?
Yeah.
Go up and down the field on Washington State like they looked like they were on air. Out of all the teams in the top 10, I am mostly worried about Ole Miss. But guess what? Now you get a big game, which I'm sure Lane Kiffin's team will show up for. I'm sure the student section will show up for this weekend. But Blaine, you've been very skeptical of Ole Miss, and I understand why. But we got to keep them there.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. This just felt like the most Lane Kiffin game ever.
Yeah.
Versus Washington State, he finds ways to most of the time lose a game to a team they should never lose to. Trust me, as a guy who took the over in this game, if I decided to say, "Wow, Washington State scored 21 points," you'd probably be feeling really good
about the over.
Really good about the over. But I said this last week. The Ole Miss was, if we said it, the biggest fraud to me in the top 2. Because right now you beat Kentucky by 7, you beat Arkansas by 6, you did beat LSU, which that matters. But now we really find out against a Georgia team on the road. Now, Ole Miss may prove me wrong, but I just don't know how elite that defense really is this year. I think the offense will be fixed. Trinidad's a great player, and they'll get back into a rhythm. I just don't think that defense is as elite to be a top 5, top 6 team.
But if you're an Ole Miss fan and you're hearing something like, oh, you're the most fraudulent team in the top 5, weirdly, you can think about that in a positive way. Wait, we found ourselves in the top 5, and we haven't even played our best football yet?
Yeah.
And we can still grow throughout the season?
You know what it's like? It's almost like people that are like, oh, oh, that supermodel's just with that guy because he's rich. Well, maybe, but he's still rich and dating a supermodel. So
then you have this subsidiary question of, did he earn that money or was it trust fund? That's a whole different.
well, you've earned the money. You've earned the money. You're undefeated, right? You bought crypto early, I guess. Or
but here's the
Bitcoin
thing, like Blaine said, back to back at Georgia and at Oklahoma. Now. To me, if you find a way to split those, you can pencil yourself in the college football playoff.
Oh, with this schedule, absolutely.
For sure.
I mean, you're at Georgia, you're at Oklahoma, South Carolina at home. It's going to be tough, but I think Ole Miss should win that football game. The Citadel, Florida at home, and at Mississippi State.
Split those, I think you're in the college football playoff.
Yeah,
but let me ask you, if they lose both and win out.
Oh, if they're 10-2, they're in.
Yeah, no, well, that's a different scenario. But then you have, in my opinion, you do have to win out.
Yeah, at 10-2
in a way that they don't have to.
Is going to be number 5. I want to talk about maybe on undefeated alert here. Texas Tech just beat Kansas so bad. Lance Leipold wanted to fight Joey McGuire after the game. Did y'all see that?
Did he?
Oh man, Leipold was looking at him and saying something. This bullshit
at the midfield handshake.
Yeah, it got
won 42-17. It's not like you.
Wait,
no, that's what I'm saying. You beat him so bad, hurt his feelings.
Take your L, buddy.
This Texas Tech team, we wondered if they were going to be able to take that step because we know they've acquired talent. We talk about Cody Campbell. We love Joey McGuire. We've had him on the show before. Great guy, obviously great football coach. Had a ton of success in high school in Texas. Texas Tech just good, man. Complete team.
Yeah. And you talk about the offense is elite, and I was trying to make a case for the defense. The 17 points that you gave up to Kansas is the most that they've given up this season.
Which is
and you can sit and you can criticize the schedule, but to me, a win at Utah is an impressive win.
Yeah, they beat their ass.
A win at Houston against a Willie Fritz coach team who was undefeated at the time. That's an impressive win. They just keep rolling along. I do think Baron Morton is the starter for a reason. He's a better quarterback. But when Will Hammond goes in there, man, he adds a completely different dynamic. And he's so great in the run game that, to me, Texas Tech doesn't lose a step.
No, and I think there's a good chance. And I know they go, I think, to Arizona State.
Yep.
We'll see what happens with Sam Leavitt. They go to Kansas State still. But, I think Texas Tech's going to be favored in every game they play in.
Well, yeah, it's kind of we'll see if Sam Leavitt plays this week in Arizona State, but it's just slowly walking into that BYU game.
Yeah.
Right, if BYU...
Which, if that's the case for Texas Tech...
You love it.
And that's a great scenario to be in.
They get him in Lubbock.
Yeah, and you've still got a young quarterback that's going to be a massive game. That can end up being a game day game. We'll see what happens here with BYU. All right, let's get into the top 4. And I tell you what, last week, we had to odd man out somebody in the college football playoff projections. And mine was A&M. Ain't happening this week, brother. I can promise you that. Handled Florida. When Florida had garnered some momentum, we know the way that Florida ended last year. They kind of started to win it, started to roll. A&M looked fantastic. Mike Elko's got this team rocking and rolling. They're undefeated. We talk about teams that can win it all. I know Marcel Reed, he hasn't been unbelievably efficient, but he's been good enough with his legs, and this defense just seems like they're continuously getting better, and we know they have good personnel. We know they have good players. This Texas A&M team, you can make your 8-4 jokes and all that stuff in the past. It's a different flavor of ice cream. They're pulling a different sword out of the sheath this year, David.
Billy Lucci told us preseason, if this team goes on the road and beats Notre Dame and then beats Auburn at home, I'm going to have to keep you guys from drinking the Texas A&M Kool-Aid. I'm ready to drink that.
Oh, I'm in a cult.
Dog, I've been drinking it for 3 years. It's just finally the kick.
I'm not dressing up in any overalls. I'm not going to be like but I'll drink Kool-Aid.
Okay.
I will drink
in overalls.
Kool-Aid. I'll drink whatever they tell me.
Well, it depends on what's in the Kool-Aid. I'll give you a couple glasses. You make it.
I like this team, man. I think they're disciplined. I think they're well coached. And even when they make mistakes, they're able to overcome those. And no matter what the circumstance of a game is, they do the right thing to be able to win it. If they're up, they're doing the right thing with 4-minute drives to be able to close out games. If they're behind, they go snatch victory out of the jaws of defeat like they did in South Bend. Mike Elko, man, good football coach.
I'm usually skeptical hippo about Texas A&M. I've always been like that. But maybe it's just me, but this is the first game all year for me that it just felt really business-like for Texas A&M.
Well, like they believed they really were.
It felt like they were supposed to win, right? And they just handled business. It was a Mike Elko, look, I know we got a meeting at 5, but let's make sure we're locked in for this meeting at 4.
Yeah.
All right, and they walked in, locked in, and just looked like the better team against Florida, just coming off a huge win against Texas. And it won. How much I'm hearing smoke. I'm seeing smoke when it comes to Mike Elko and Penn State.
Leverage play.
I wouldn't do it. If I'm Mike Elko, I think Texas A&M.
I don't buy it, man.
Well, if I'm Mike Elko, I'm using it as leverage. I'm like, hey, look, Penn State, they won't stop calling me. I mean, could we talk about a salary increase?
Yeah,
we talk
Jimbo
about
Fisher
an
do that,
NIL fund increase.
Jimbo Fisher did that same thing, and they extended him after first year?
No, it worked. That's what I'm saying. It worked.
It worked for Jimbo.
Yeah, that's
Not
what Mike. Listen, I'm sure Mike loves Texas A&M, but Mike also has a family. He's got to think about himself. If it's me, it's foot on the gas. I'm screaming America. Like, hey, listen, I need more money for me and my assistants. I need more. A&M's got it. It's not like we're robbing the poor. It's a Robin Hood situation. Like, look, y'all are rich. Give us some more money. I deserve it. Look at what James Franklin did. I deserve it.
All right, let's get through some of this SEC schedule first.
No, they're so excited.
They
bite. It's like you haven't fed a fat kid in a week and you send him in a Golden Corral. He can barely make it to get a plate.
Yeah.
He's so excited. That's how excited
you got. You're at Arkansas this weekend, at LSU, at Missouri, South Carolina at home, Samford at home, and obviously at Texas to finish the year. And it's funny we're having this conversation and somehow A&M goes 8-4.
They do. Don't put that evil on them. Don't put that evil on them. I tell you somebody who's not going 8-4.
Mom Spaghetti.
Indiana.
Look, Kurt Cignetti, man. This is one of the best coaching jobs I've ever seen in my life. And it's in year 2 at Indiana. It's not like you're Kalen DeBoer and you walked into Bama's roster. You walked into Indiana, half of them are dribbling basketballs. Like, this is just, and they're good. They're really good. They're really, really, really good. Your quarterback may win the Heisman. I know it wasn't amazing, but he outdid Dante Moore. If we're being real, on the road. I mean, look at the rest of Indiana's schedule. Like, roll through it.
You have Michigan State at home.
Win.
UCLA at home.
Whoa.
That game.
Now.
Hold up.
I mean, little Neuheisel. You don't want to mess around with him. All right. Then you got at Maryland.
You guys with blonde hair, y'all stick together.
Yeah, we have more fun at Maryland, which that freshman's out there doing.
Hey, at Maryland, you can't just pencil a W on that.
No, you got to go play
at
well.
Penn State.
But, like, Indiana plays well all the time. Like, it's not – I can count on them playing well.
They
don't make it about the
chip on their
opponent.
shoulder, which is a reflection of the leadership of their head coach.
Yeah.
You're at Penn State. You got Wisconsin at home. All right, how Luke Fickell has a job, I don't even know. Then you're at Purdue, putting up a lot of points this year.
Right, you're at worst 11-1. And that's if something goes really wrong. Indiana, I'm telling you right now.
Well, you're going to be favored in the rest of your games.
I mean, it's just
1,000%.
Can you beat Ohio State?
The thing is, they just sent a message by beating Oregon because last year the thing was, okay, you can beat up on a lot of these teams in the Big Ten. Congratulations, year 1 in the league, but you're not going to beat the best teams in the league. Lost to the Buckeyes, make the college football playoff, don't put on a good showing. You've now gone and beaten Oregon on the road. What an impressive victory. I think that sent a message across the country.
It did. I mean, it's an arrival. It really is. Like, they are at that level.
Is it the best win this year in college football?
Yeah. I think they may have replaced.
Alabama going and beating Georgia.
That was a big one. That was a big one, too. It's a good argument because there's so much parity. All right. You can probably guess the next 2. We have Ohio State at 2. Okay. And I can understand people that have Ohio State at 1. I can understand people that have Indiana at 1. I think the top 3, I think there's a little bit of difference with A&M from what we've seen from the top 3. But this Ohio State team may have the most potential out of any team. And again, like we say, it must be awesome to be Julian saying, man. This must be awesome.
And he's playing good, too.
And he's playing good. He's playing really good, completing a lot of passes. But you almost feel like it's tough to play bad with these guys. And this defense. You want to talk about feeling good about yourself? You want to talk about not being worried about going for it on 4th and 3 from midfield when you got those things running around on defense?
I know, but, like, Penn State has a lot of good players, too. Look at Drew
They
Aller.
do, but golly.
And, like, what Ryan Day has done over there with 2 new coordinators. I understand that, Brian Hartline was on staff and all that, but still, 2 new coordinators, a brand new quarterback, and they're still rolling like this. I have to give them credit, man. It's really impressive. Out of them and Miami, the team I think that is best is the one I watch play most recently. Every time I watch both of them, I'm like, that's the best team. Yeah. And Miami was off this past week.
We couldn't punish.
To no fault to them.
Yeah. And again, you talk about, hey, Notre Dame, well, their losses keep looking better and better. Well, Miami's win over Notre Dame keeps looking better and better. And when you look at consistency in a college football landscape with a ton of parity and inconsistency, they and Ohio State and Indiana, I think, have been the most model. And I think you could argue Texas Tech. A&M, we've seen them struggle a little bit. Ole Miss, we've seen them struggle. And obviously everybody else on that list has lost. But between Miami, Ohio State, Indiana, and Texas Tech, I think they have been the most consistent teams.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Overall.
Right now, the little separator for me when it comes to Miami and Ohio State is Carson Beck.
Yeah.
Right? And Julian Sain's been playing good. I think they fed him a little bit more this weekend from a freedom standpoint back in the pocket.
Well, and then
but
Miami
I just
up
know
front,
what
too, on
Carson
the
Beck
offensive
is.
line.
Yeah, I've seen what Carson
could run
Beck
with
is
Ohio State
through a season, and I know I can put a little bit more trust in him than I can put
I just wonder, will the Texas win for the Buckeyes continue to look better and better? I mean, now after Red River, Texas is going to play Kentucky, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt 3 weeks in a row, and then they have a bye before they have to go to Georgia. What if you're 7-2 before you enter a bye to go on the road and play the Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs?
God, these weekends are just, it's so awesome. It's so much fun. Even though the team we root for sucks, it's so much fun to watch the rest of college. This has been the most fun year of college football so far to me.
Your team too?
Well, I mean, David, y'all just won the national championship.
I'm going to live off that for a long time.
Yeah, y'all got Bryce Underwood. We got Carrie Underwood. Quarterback.
Wish. I wish.
Yeah. Hey, you put on a heck of a halftime show.
Look, yeah, no, I mean, it's not your fault, Gary.
Look, at Auburn, we can put on great halftime.
It's not your fault.
Yeah, it's definitely not. All right, in the comments, let us know, what do you think about our power rankings, this top 15 that we have? Where do you agree? Where do you disagree? Remember, lock in the Crain Company. We got Georgia, Ole Miss previews. We got Alabama, Tennessee. We got a ton of them. There's some USC, Notre Dame, some more huge games this weekend. Louisville, Miami, Friday night. Little Friday night action. And guys, there is football every day this week. I mean, like every day for the next like
59 days.
Yeah, it's awesome. So make sure you're locked into Crain Company, and like the chances of us not wanting college football right now, and this cool little pin I got right here.
Sorry.
Well, David, thank you for ruining
Good God, that's
possibly the
Michigan
whole
in
show.
this
We're
season
going, gone.